Hi, this is James Gordon October Light here for book review. Today's book I'm reviewing today, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. This was first published back in Avon Books, hardcover 1997. This edition is from Harper, March 2014. This being the very first, no. This being the second urban fantasy book I read on my channel, and sadly, I did not like this book. I really wanted to like it, as I liked the idea of this secret world that's just underneath the streets of London, and there's people with powers and stuff. I really like the idea of that, and the main character is like a normal person that gets involved in this, but after the first act of story, the rest of it I really didn't like where it went, and I found myself bored most of the time. I didn't like how character dialogue was, and there's moments where nothing really happens, and I was just finding myself bored the further I progressed for this book. And then after again halfway through the book, I just basically called it quits. I was like, I'm done with this book. I really want to like it, but I didn't like it. I know I've heard a lot of praise from this author, like a lot of his works is very well known. I got his other book, American Gods. I'm hoping that one I'll like more, but yeah, for my first book by Neil Gaiman, I did not like this book at all. As I'll explain later on in my review, the issues and problems I have with this book, and a lot of the other things I didn't like with it. Alright, on to the book review. Plot: Richard Mayhew is leaving Scotland to work in London while his friends throw him a party at a pub before he leaves the following morning. While standing outside in the rain to get some fresh air, an old woman chats with him, then reads his fortune. She tells Richard that he has a long trip ahead of him and beware of doors. Once in London, he begins to adjust to his new surroundings, along with taking long walks through the city, riding on the metro. Richard also likes visiting the art gallery and museum on his free time and collects trolls. While working a busy day at the office, Richard almost forgets his dinner plans with his girlfriend Jessica, as she wants him to meet her boss. He quickly leaves and tries to get to his place on time, but has a few setbacks. Meanwhile, a woman known as Dor is being hunted by two figures armed with knives, Messrs. Coop and Vandemar, in the underground tunnels. Tired, cold, hungry, and lost, Dor is badly wounded as the two figures follow her trail of blood while Dor is searching for a way out. When Richard and Jessica reach the restaurant, with her telling him what to do and how to act around her boss, however, Richard spots a woman lying in the streets wearing old, filthy clothes. Jessica tries to get him to ignore her, but refuses to leave the woman. She pleads with him not to call an ambulance, but to get her out of here. Richard takes her back to his flat, abandoning Jessica at the restaurant. The following morning, Richard awakens from a nightmare, and Dor is standing over him. Richard tries to get help, but Dor refuses, but accepts to use bandages to treat her wounds. Messrs. Coop and Vladimir appear at the front door and force themselves inside, searching for Dor. Unable to find her, they leave Richard with a photo and to contact them when he finds her. He tries to call the police, but finds they have cut the phone lines, and discovers a message left from Jessica, who's furious with him after abandoning and embarrassing her boss. She breaks off their relationship. After Dor recovers from her wounds, she goes to Richard's bedroom, opens the window, then calls out to a pigeon to deliver a note. A few moments later, a big rat appears behind Richard's TV, startling him as he nearly hits the rat with a TV remote. Dor calls it out and makes Richard apologize to it. The rat then has a note attached to it, which she gives to Richard. He takes the tube to reach Tottenham Court Road in Oxford Street to meet Marquita de Cabras. When Richard finds him, Dor needs a favor to get back home safely, as she was nearly killed by two men. Marquita agrees to help. He takes Richard across London through the underground by traveling through tunnels and sewers to the rooftops. Once they reach his house, Marquita takes Dor with her as she thanks Richard for helping her, gives him a kiss, then leaves. The next morning, things go from bad to worse when Richard is late for work. He tries waving down taxis, but none of them stop. He tries using the ticket machine to take the tube, but the machine rejects his coins. In frustration, he hops over the gate, but nobody stops him. However, he tries getting on the train, but is unable to get through the crowd of people, as his jacket sleeve is caught in the door and is nearly dragged by the train as he tears his arm free. Upon arriving at work, nobody recognizes him as his desk has been cleared off and moved. He leaves and goes to Jessica, but she too doesn't recognize him. When he returns to his apartment, his room has been sold as a couple is moving in. Not even the ATM machine will take his card. Wanting answers, he goes looking for Dor. The homeless person who is the first person who was able to see Richard takes him to a secret entrance to the underground. When the homeless person brings him into the underground, a group of people known as rat speakers who help out rats attempt to rob him, but are ordered to let him go by the Lord Rat Speaker. Richard explains he's looking for Dor as she told him about floating market where he could find her. Lord Rat Speaker gives him a guide to help reach where he has to go. However, during the journey to floating market, Richard's guide is killed by darkness when the sun goes down. A random woman suddenly appears and takes Richard to floating market. Once there, Richard searches through the stores and vendors till he spots an old man he met earlier, Old Bailey, who tells Richard where to find Dora after trading his hanky for information. Upon finding Dora, who's auditioning people to be her bodyguard, as the two men that nearly killed her are still after her, Dora picks a strong and skilled woman named Hunter to be her bodyguard. However, Marquis doesn't want Richard tagging along in their quest, as Richard wants answers of what's going on with his life. At first they abandon him, but Dor feels bad and comes back to get him. Richard joins the others for Dor's quest of finding the Angel Islington. She will also try to help Richard get his life back to normal. Meanwhile, Messrs. Crop and Vanamar are tasked with hunting down Dor and finishing their contract while killing anyone else that gets in their way. Richard is about to learn the secrets underneath the streets of London as he's about to play a key role in Dor's quest. Neverwhere is a strange yet dull story. While the beginning gets off to an interesting start, however, the rest of the novel becomes difficult to understand what's going on, very weird and boring at times. Also, a lot of moments that nothing happens through the story, just characters talking a lot, traveling through the sewers and tunnels, and little moments of action. One thing I didn't like was character dialogue. It would be weird or too many characters talking at once. I also didn't like how characters that are supposed to be good suddenly betray the other characters, but then reappear and try helping them out again later. Or were unable to go to certain places because a curse is placed on them or grudges against others. While the writing wasn't that bad, as I liked the detail within the story and characters could be either interesting or not. Lastly, I was bored with the main plot of the story and expected more from Neverwhere, but didn't get much out of it. Overall, I don't recommend Neverwhere. I don't think most people would like it, as they may find it a bit too strange, weird, and boring. I'm sure you can find better urban fantasy novels than this one. And that's a review today. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I was really bummed with Neverwhere. I really wanted to like it. I really like the idea of it. And I really like this cover. This is a really cool cover. And actually, this is a later edition. The first cover, well, the later cover of Neverwhere. Actually, it's like this, except it doesn't have this extra tunnel added to it. Like, it's just darkness. So I really like the cover of this book. I like the idea of it, but the rest of the story I didn't like. The beginning gets off to a really good start, and then after that, I find it just kind of like it lost its momentum. Like, it lost what made it interesting. And then when the character's trying to find Dor and figure out what the hell's going on, it gets really weird. And there's times where I'm having a kind of a hard time understanding what's going on. And then it's got all these characters that, like, he adds like other characters talking, which I feel was a bit unnecessary. Like, there's this one part where his guide is taking Richard through like some tunnel, and they get to somewhere, and then out of nowhere there's a man and woman arguing, and it's like part of the into the story, and then the characters just go on about it. I'm like, what where does this dialogue come from? Like, what is this doing here? And then there was other scenes I was like really baffled of what was going on and what the characters were talking about. And like, there are some characters I thought were interesting, but there's others I did not like. I really dislike Richard's like girlfriend Jessica. She's just this cruel, heartless woman that doesn't care for anyone but herself. And when Richard spots this wounded woman lying in the streets that's bleeding and needs help, Jessica is like, just ignore her, Richard. She's not important. Like, this person is dying. Like, you're gonna. You're more concerned about your boyfriend meeting your boss than helping a woman out in the streets. Like, I thought that was so far-fetched. Let's see what else. I thought the character Dora was not really that interesting. Her name is basically a hint that she can open doors. That's why she's called Dora. But I thought you could have give her like a better name and then just calling her Dora all the time. Because I find if you name a character a certain name and then they have to interact with an item or object of the same, it just kind of makes it weird. Um, and there's not really that many. Like I expect this book to have like a lot more bad guys in it, and the two characters that just reappear, I kind of got bored with them, and as I said, nothing really much else happens. And then this quest that Richard goes on, like they go on this quest, and then the one character can't, it refuses to get on a train because of a grudge, so he has to wait behind on this train station. Then when they get to the museum, the other character can't go in because of a curse placed on them. I thought, what was the point of bringing these characters along if they can't go into the place they're supposed to go in? I thought it was dumb, and uh, overall, I was just not enjoying this book as I really wanted to. As I said, I like the idea of it, but yeah, this book wasn't for me. Hey, we can't like everything. Now for what I've read, apparently this is actually from a failed TV series that Neil Gaiman wrote. And apparently the show didn't do well, so he then uh, wrote it into a novel by adding more to the story, and that apparently did very well. So I'm not interested in checking that series out after this. I just hope that when I go to read the book American Gods, I'll enjoy that one a lot more than this book. Alright, that's it for the review today. Hope you enjoyed it. And for my next book, I will begin reading No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Okay, I'll be reading that next. And let's see. If I get this book completed in a short period of time, I will then read another book, which I got planned out. If I get that book done, if I get that second book done in a short period of time, it's only a short book anyway. It won't take me too long to read. I'm gonna do two graphic novel reviews. I've been wanting to do some graphic novel reviews, and I decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do two book reviews, and I'm gonna do two graphic novel reviews. So I'm gonna do two graphic novel reviews, and if I get those two things done on time, I will begin reading some horror books for the upcoming October Terror series, which I plan on doing in October. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. Alright. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook group. Let's stay new. Please support share review of fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.